Hello, I'm Kathryn Falk. I'm the Vice President and Market Leader for Cox Communications in Northern Virginia and the incoming Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Northern Virginia Chamber of Commerce. I'm excited to be here with you today to present the Northern Virginia Chamber of Commerce 2020 Lifetime Achievement Award. The Lifetime Achievement Award honors a lifetime of leadership and invaluable volunteer service of a dedicated individual who has been instrumental in building Northern Virginia into the economic engine it is today. The 33rd winner of the Northern Virginia Chamber of Commerce's annual Lifetime Achievement Award is Ann Holton, Interim President, George Mason University. On August 1st, 2019, Holton became the first female and the 7th president of George Mason University, the state's largest, most diverse, and fastest growing university. Prior to this, she served as the Virginia Secretary of Education. During that time, she worked to increase Virginia's investment in public education, to promote innovation and teaching and learning in state schools, and to ensure every student has a successful pathway to the future, particularly children who live in poverty. Mason's mission of access to excellence mirrors Holton's impactful career in education, law, public service, leading efforts on behalf of families and children. As Virginia's First Lady, when her husband Tim Kaine served as governor, Holton championed the foster care system. Holton's commitment to equal opportunity in education started early. Her father, former Virginia Governor Linwood Holton Jr., helped to integrate schools in the inner cities of Richmond by sending his own children to Richmond City Public Schools. The Holton family also has a long history with Mason. Her father, as governor in 1972, signed legislation that granted George Mason University its independence from the University of Virginia. A native of Roanoke, Virginia, a graduate of Princeton and Harvard Law, it is my pleasure to congratulate Ann Holton on the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Northern Virginia Chamber of Commerce.
So Ann Holton is a dynamo. Recently, she was George Mason University's interim president, and she sustained a huge agenda during a critical time for the university. She was an exceptional advocate at the Virginia General Assembly. She was able to secure additional funds and really parity funding for Mason compared to the other research universities in the state. Ann Holton is a dedicated business leader for our community.
I've had the pleasure of knowing and working with Ann Holton for 20 years, starting at a law firm that had the name of her husband and her dad above the door at various times. And while Ann has been surrounded by highly accomplished men that have taken very high-profile roles in their lives, she's an amazing woman who has pursued her own mission. Some of the concepts that come to mind when I think about Ann are modesty and empathy and of someone who is purpose-driven. I'd like to tell you a few things about her career and about the woman that I know who is a wife and a mother and more importantly, a leader who is deserving of this award. She has a tremendous capacity for empathy and an innate drive to serve others. And as a child, you may have heard that she's the only person that has lived in the Virginia governor's mansion as a child and as a first lady. And she used that opportunity in both times to serve bigger society. As a child, there was an iconic photograph in the Richmond newspaper of her going to the Richmond City Public Schools as her family's personal example of why massive resistance was a bad idea. It gives me chills even today to think about the photograph. After law school, when she and Tim were first married, she spent 13 years as a lawyer for the Central Virginia Legal Aid Society, and she created a program for other lawyers to volunteer their time to help people that couldn't afford legal representation. So at the same time, while she was supporting her husband's career, she was, in her quiet, modest way, pursuing her own mission, beautifully and gracefully, as she always did. There's a story around the law firm that Anne decided for a year to not drive a car during that time period because she wanted to understand and gain a little more empathy about the lives of people that couldn't afford to have a car to drive. Just another example of her being the point of the spear in serving other people and trying to understand the lives that they were living. She was also a juvenile and domestic relations judge and encountered many people, I imagine, over that 7 years that had all kinds of circumstances that put them into the court system. And I think what she learned during that time period is that people need some help, and that what she learned about teens in particular and foster kids helped her decide when she became the First Lady that that was going to be a mission she wished to pursue during that time. And then when she finished in the governor's mansion, when Tim moved on from the governor's mansion, she took on a role as director of a nonprofit called Great Expectations with a mission of helping foster kids, keeping them from falling off the cliff once they turned 18, and helping them navigate the community college system in Virginia. So she really focused a lot of time and energy on kids and foster care kids, particularly once they were teenagers. I don't know another person more deserving of a Lifetime Achievement Award than Anne Holton. She spent her entire career in pursuit of social, racial, and civic equality. I congratulate her on the award and for living a life that's so deserving of such recognition. Congratulations, Anne.
Congratulations, Anne Holton, winner of the 2020 Northern Virginia Chamber of Commerce Lifetime Achievement Award.
It's a great honor to win this award. Certainly after seeing the illustrious folks who won it before me, I'm just thrilled to join their ranks and thrilled to be honored by the Chamber in this way. I've been connected to Northern Virginia in so many parts of my life in so many ways. But then to have had this special relationship over this course of this year when I've been in my interim presidency and to work with chamber members, it's gratifying to me that you all would think of me and really very humbling for me and honoring to be thought of in this way for this award. That I did an important part of my growing up in Northern Virginia. My family moved to McLean when I was in the middle of high school, and I did my last 2 years of high school at Langley High School early in its years, and had some wonderful experiences there, some amazing teachers. And my family ties go back even deeper than that. My dad was the one who signed the legislation that made George Mason University an independent university, something I'm very proud of. And I've worked with Northern Virginia partners throughout my working life in all kinds of different ways. When I was working with the community college system, I worked with NOVA a lot. When I was Secretary of Education, the Fairfax County school system was, as it still is, the largest component of the school system in Virginia. So I've had the privilege and the honor of working with folks in Fairfax, but throughout Northern Virginia in lots of different ways over the years. I've had folks who helped me when I was a baby lawyer at the Legal Aid Society. I've had folks in my judicial career and in my education career, but I'll revert back to an easy one. My dad is a great role model for me in so many ways, and one that people might not know. You all know of his moral leadership and his courage in helping integrate Virginia and so many other things he did as governor. But he was a great behind-the-scenes manager as governor. He used to say, "You have to learn how to point," and then he would point at people. And he was known for being a good overseer, but not a micromanager. And that's a crucial lesson to learn if you're going to be in a role, running this billion-dollar institution this year. I could not have done it alone. I could not have done it without great colleagues. And learning from my dad, when he was governor, he had 100 agency heads reporting directly to him. He created the cabinet system that didn't exist because of that challenge. But that sort of thinking well how to attract, hire, and work with good people, and then let them go do their jobs is something I've really learned from him. Well, I'll just say thank you specifically to the Chamber and to Northern Virginia for your welcome to me in my role as president this year, and for your embrace of George Mason University. Mason is has a very special place in my heart, being so focused on equity and access for those who might not otherwise obtain a really terrific higher education and a pathway to great jobs. The way Northern Virginia has embraced Mason and its growth over the years has just been transformative for the university, and I express my gratitude for that and for this lovely award that makes me feel so special. I am really very honored to get this award, and it's I'm sorry for the Chamber that you don't get to hand them out in person, but it means a lot to me, and I appreciate it.